SFL. It is me and Will.
Yep. I'm wearing
We
a white shirt, but don't worry, he's not coming. He's not
Willie's
coming.
not here. No little Willie. Um, we're gonna talk some football, and actually, I'm being a bad person because I didn't even share my screen with Will yet.
No, yeah. I don't need it, but it's always good for the pod.
Yeah, pod needs it.
Mm-hmm.
The pod needs it. So, I took a week off last week. Sorry for that. Sumimasen. Uh, Needed a little break to cry about Chris Godwin being down. Needed a morning week. Um, yeah. So, Will, you got anything you want to talk about with the peeps?
No, I just another week, another win. That's how it goes in this world for me. Also, wait, no, I do have something to talk about. I am the bridesmaid of this league. I have finished now 3 times second in points in a week, and this week the only reason I finished second was because Jaden Daniels threw that bomb and they caught it for a 60 touchdown. I lost by 13 points, and I think that was worth 14 points.
Ugh.
So you take that out, I win, and I get paid. So
Take the
whatever.
Hail Mary play out and you get paid.
Yeah, so whatever. And I also go back. I don't understand what is wrong with the NFL and these. Everyone knows what's going to happen. Just knock it down. Why are you trying to tip it? Why are you trying to intercept it? Just knock it down.
Uh,
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, that was a really dumb play.
Whatever. Can't beat it.
I would like to congratulate you for being number one in the league. 7-1, most points scored. Probably, I would say Jordan still has the best roster.
It shows. He does. He definitely does.
But it's very close. I don't think it's like that different. I think D Haas is suffering some injuries and his team is like going downhill. So now his hot run is down. Rob is the fourth place team and his team is looking real strong.
Mm-hmm. Getting better, getting healthy, and I think the difference is that I would say uh, that Glory Hole G Hole is got the traditional names that are dominating, right? I've got all these hybrid names this year. Well, I guess I got the quarterbacks, but that's the difference. I have the quarterbacks. He's got the wide receivers when it comes to difference. So
Yeah, that's true. Um, and then the other team that's in the championship race, I would say, is probably Victor, right? Cream Pie Cupcake, 178 points per game, also doing showing up out of nowhere.
yeah, and we'll talk about it, but he just made a trade. I don't know how if that's gonna be better or worse for him, but
I think that's gonna be better for him. I don't think he gave up anything, and Adi just gave him. I don't know, just gave him starters for no reason. I don't know what's going on there.
yeah.
Uh, since we brought that up, let's go ahead and talk about it then. Let's talk about this trade that's apparently not going to get cucked.
I
Cause
mean,
it.
who's cooking that one? I mean, other than who wants to go after Audie's guys, I guess. I don't know, but like,
I mean, Chuba Herbert is the 10th running back in the year. David Montgomery is the 12th running back of the season. DK Metcalf, is he really that hurt? Like, when's he gonna come back?
I mean,
Like,
probably.
he's maybe this week. Look at that. It's
Mhm.
really like.
And I mean, go. Dallas is not getting the receptions, obviously, with now all
I
the
mean, he's
people
been hurt.
back. But he's been hurt too, obviously. But I'm saying, like, even when he comes back, they'll have their full group. The reason he was getting catches before was they had no AJ, they had no Smith for that one game where he dominated, and then he got hurt, kind of thing. So, he's not anything that you worry about. However, it's not like Likely is tearing it up.
He,
Matthews, what's
likely
his face is back.
Isaiah Likely was a 1 week wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Demario Douglas, another 1 week wonder. He's back to 3 targets per game for the last 2 weeks. Deontay Johnson is going to Baltimore, which I think he's going to do worse in Baltimore than he was doing with uh
Understand the trade
what's
by Baltimore there because like Deontay Johnson to me is Zay Flowers. Like he's a better down the field runner than Zay Flowers is. Like Zay Flowers more your slot guy, but like it's not like he's 6'5". They don't have any big tall receivers other than Andrews and Likely. Also, he traded for Likely. Now he's got two Baltimore players. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I also don't get I mean
I
the
hate
Jets I know
all of
that
this. I hate this entire trade for Audie. I don't know why he's doing this.
and obviously he did 2 weeks ago or last week was his where he did the trade where he got rid of Tua and um geez, I can't remember Tyreek
Yeah,
last week,
yeah,
and he got Kirk Cousins, Dobbins, and James Williams, who then gets suspended.
yeah, yeah. That sucked.
So I mean, let's just go through that trade real quick too, because obviously we missed it. But like Cousins and Tua, now Tua's healthy again. He had a good game last week, not a good game, decent game. But with Tyreek and Tua, they're back. Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball down the field, yes, but you know he got J.K. Dobbins. Why does he need another running back?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
get it.
I don't know.
You're gonna have to explain it to us because I have no idea.
Uh, I can't tell you what is going on. Like I understand the previous trade where he gave away Tyreek Hill and Tua because okay, maybe Tua, if you want to be on the side that gambles that Tua is not going to be the same when he comes back and that offense is cooked, and Tyreek Hill is not going to be Tyreek Hill, he's not going to be a top three wide receiver rest of the season, and because Tua is not the same. Yeah, I get that trade, but this trade, there's zero upside here. He gave away three starters for nothing. I don't see the upside. I don't like it's borderline collusion to me. Like I don't know what this trade is. It's very weird.
I mean, like, let's say that obviously between you and me, right? We had the Cooper trade. Reason I traded more than I think I probably should have is because I wanted Cooper and you knew that, right?
Hmm.
Did he want Deontay Johnson that bad that he was willing? Because that to me is the only thing in his trade that
That's
I'd
the only
say
thing.
a taking a risk. I mean, Javonte Williams has played well the last couple weeks. He has. But can you really trust that Denver offense with Bo Nix? I mean, Bo Nix had a great game last week, but can we really trust Javonte Williams to have monster games? I mean, he didn't have it last week, did he?
Um, he had an 8 point game. In the previous
Okay,
game,
so
he
he had
scored two
31.
touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So here's the thing: is he's probably had a big breakaway play. He's getting that 15 carry per game range. But look at this. It's like a 3 yard per carry a lot of the times, and no touchdowns. Just had two touchdowns in that New Orleans game, which is a big blow up game. This is
And
yeah.
I,
I don't
I
know.
mean, I have his handcuff, and he had 15 points last game. His
Yeah.
handcuff did, and
Yeah.
again, it's because he scored the touchdown on the thing. But you're talking about giving up Chuba, who is getting 80% of the carries. He's Kyron in that offense in a way. Like he's getting the touches. If you're going to talk about anybody, he gets the touches. If he doesn't get points, it's not because of anything but touchdowns. But 15 to 18 carries. Braylon Allen. I mean, I understand he's really hot, like hot name and waiver pickups.
But this line, so it started at the start of the season. It looked like we had a Jets line that could block. Look at these: 8 yards per carry, 5 yards per carry, five per carry. Week five, two, 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 two on the yards per carry. This is not good. Man, I don't know. I don't know.
And maybe DK is more hurt than we really know. I know they said he might come back this week. They do have a week bye in 10, The 10 is their week bye. If he doesn't play, maybe they hold him out until week 11. But like that's the same thing I'm doing right now with Mike Evans. I'm holding him, I'm stashing him, and I'm ready for him for the playoffs,
Yeah,
kind of thing. And I understand that he's not up there in the standings. What is he right now? He's 2-6. He's tied for the worst record in the league,
yeah.
and he's trying to make something happen. But I don't think that this was the something. He wanted to get rid of DK, maybe too bad. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. We've talked about it a lot, but like this trade, just the values 10, 12, 16, 23. He's got no one that's up higher than 10. He's got likely, but likely's 13 in tight ends.
And
Like
likely is a fake 13 because it all came in week 1.
correct. And and he's the backup again. Like I know
Yeah,
they should do two tight end sets,
yeah.
but Andrews is catching touchdowns now. So I don't get it. Whatever. We'll move on. Let's just move on because we'll debate this forever.
And the thing is like when I saw that trade go through, I was like, oh, it's gonna get cut, right? Like someone's gonna see DK Metcalf and for sale for cheap apparently, and they're gonna find a way to get this. But no, we're 21 hours in. This thing's about to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's yeah, just go ahead to last week's games. Last week was kind of boring, man. Everybody blew up, and we all played against people who didn't blow up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like all the 200-point scorers won their game, which was 5 of us, and
Mm-hmm.
then the sixth best team was Holden with 188, and he also won
And he would have
his
beaten
game.
anybody that played on our side.
Yeah,
So all the people that won should have won,
should have won.
which is like it's the first time ever. Obviously,
Yeah, that never
you know,
happens.
the top six won.
That never happens. Crazy. We all got matched up where we should have been matched up, I guess. Um, but let's go on to this week. Uh, I'm sure you're going to talk about your game with Audie a lot on.
Well, and it's hard to talk about it right now, anyways, because what does he have? His whole
Yeah,
team's gonna be different,
yeah.
in 3 hours. And of course Gary's team. It's hard to talk about that one too. So, um, I was looking at the Kyle game. I'm interested in Kyle versus the commish. Dylan's team needs a win, and they're not that bad. His team's not bad. They're just Trevor Lawrence is killing him. Like Trevor Lawrence is just destroying his team. Will he start Flacco this week? Possibly, maybe.
I think
Um,
it's CJ Stroud, really. CJ
oh,
Stroud.
because he's just not making as much of an effort, like or not dominating the
This
30
is,
to 40 point games.
yeah, he's not. You draft CJ Stroud expecting 30 points per game, and he just
That's
hasn't
true.
been
Trevor
there.
Lawrence hasn't been doing that bad. I just looked at his numbers again.
I feel
It
like they've
just
both been
feels like it. The
underperforming.
game, because you know why? Because Trevor Lawrence is getting crap at the end.
Okay, call me crazy. I would actually sit, if I was a commish, I would sit CJ Stroud on tonight's game to put in Joe Flacco against Minnesota for the Sunday night game.
I mean, that is crazy. It's you know what? It's not as crazy as you're saying right now because he doesn't have Diggs.
He doesn't have Diggs,
He doesn't
and
have Diggs, so now
and
Diggs is out, so that combo is not going to really do anything for him.
and that Jets pass defense is actually pretty good. The
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota pass defense is actually pretty soft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would start Flacco. Well, we'll see if we'll come back next week and see if we were right about this one. But
But where is Diggs? Am I missing him?
Diggs is on the.
IL?
He's been cut.
Oh, because he tore. It's right, he tore it,
He's
didn't he?
done. He's done for the season. Yeah, Dylan cut him.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought he kept him. I thought he had him on the
He's got
team
him.
too.
He's got
Jeez.
him.
Well, and then of course Kyle resurgent last week. Is Kyle for real?
Was back on the back of Achan. Is 30 points on
And Nick's is 40
9.7 yards
points,
per carry. Yeah.
almost 50, 47.
Uh,
Devontae Smith got some, some big catches. He outperformed AJ Brown that week. You know the funny
how's
part about
Dunze
these
doing?
teams? These teams make me laugh because literally they're just littered with my rejects. You got Jordan Addison over here, who I drafted. You got, I don't know, half my teams over here that I traded him for. But like, it's like all my rejects are on these teams.
You know, as much as I hate on Rashad White, he's actually like starting to become a decent option because Chris Godwin got hurt.
True. Well, he was out last week, obviously because of the injury. So, or was it last week he was out, or he played last? No, he played last week. He was
Yeah.
out the New Orleans game. That's right. But Bucky. The thing is, Bucky is Bucky going to get too many catches?
Bucky's not going to get too many catches. He's just the obviously better runner in that offense. He's so much better than Rashad White when it comes to running the ball.
The thing is, I mean, I understand Jordan Addison against Indianapolis, but I think I would start Shakir. Shakir looks like he is now wide open with Cooper and Keon on the
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
He's able to just do whatever he wants in that offense. So, but
I should probably send a trade offer for Khalil Shakir before Kyle
already
listens to
have.
the
He doesn't
podcast.
want to talk to me.
Oh yeah.
He's done with me. I
Uh,
pissed him off to a point where he's tired of me of listening to me, and it's fine.
yeah, but I think the commission wins this one, and both teams go to 3-6. You know,
I'd like that.
I
Keep
think
beating each other up down there in the bottom.
I just want to look real quick at our power rankings.
Oh yeah, we skipped the power.
We just some of it. I want to see. Yeah, Dylan's 33-55 on his overall win record. So yeah,
Zoom it up a little bit. There you go. Better. All right. Yeah, I mean, uh, who's got the most points? I think you were talking about this in the chat,
it's
but
you,
he
man.
is the second most points to Priapism.
Oh, are you talking about the
The
seventh?
last
The
the last
last
seven, yeah.
spot is yeah, Priapism. 100
Gotcha.
1300. He's the one that makes it in. So
Which would mean that our entire division gets in if that happens.
correct. Yes, which is
Crazy.
starting to look like that is actually what is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm hopeful this week that Martian Law takes a loss. I'm not. I don't really care what you do, but I just want a 3-game lead. I want to
Yeah, a three-game
win.
lead for you would be good. Talking about
Yeah.
martial laws taking a loss, let's go to that game because I think that's the
Okay.
game of the week. Both teams are 5-3. Truck Stop Glory Hole versus Martial Law. Truck Stop is projected 162. Martial Law is protected 140. This is the top uh, two scoring teams projected for the week, and they're facing each other, and they're both 5-3.
Interesting lineup. Not lineup, but interesting. Just the amount of points they think that Glory G Hole's gonna get. I mean, like most of the time, it's like
It's
12
crazy.
points for our
160, dude.
receivers. I mean, like 21 points. I mean, listen, it's Jefferson. 20 points for Chase. I don't think Chase is going to have a monster game, but he'll still have a decent game if Higgins doesn't play again.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess that's true. And now he's got Cooper back. I mean, just sickening that he has Hopkins on the bench and will not trade him. Like,
I
I will
tried
take
last
Hopkins.
week, and I'm grateful that he didn't accept. I offered CD for Cup, Adams, and Hopkins. That was my offer. He wasn't willing to move that much.
Yeah, that seems pretty steep.
I think you guys are overestimating how well Adams and Hopkins are going to do. I think they're
No,
both
I'm
a
not saying for
gamble.
you steep. I'm talking about them steep. Like I know CD had a 50-point game last week, but he's also had a bunch of duds,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's why he was not on my team anymore. but I knew he'd have a good week, and so I'm glad that he did for you.
I appreciate it.
Um,
Thank you.
but it's really about Roberts' running backs. It comes down to every week. If Roberts' running backs get touchdowns, he's dangerous. If they don't, he's not that dangerous. But his wide receivers are not that great.
Is Carr back this week?
Who?
Carr? David Carr? Is he back?
I don't
Have
think
they
Derek's
announced it
back.
yet?
I think he's out one more game.
One more game?
I think. I don't know.
Because Kamara was doing really well when Carr was in the offense, and then as soon as Carr went out, Kamara went out too.
I mean,
His points dropped big time.
I would think they'd either have to put him in
Yeah.
now or week 10, or they just hold him out till week 13. Like,
Yeah, look at this 24, 52, 20, 30, and then week 5, 13, 16, 6,
you
19.
should not bring him back. If anything, you bring him back against Atlanta, but bringing him back against Cleveland, that makes no sense. That defense that Cleveland has right now,
Oh, they're good.
as far as just the pass rush, why would you want to put him out there for that?
Um, it's just so hard to root against the G hole, man. Like this team is monstrous.
Yes. We've created the monster. So I mean, he created a lot of it, but we then reinforced it with some of our trades and things like that to help him out.
The thing is he got amazing values on these wide receivers at the very end of the draft, and his team has been healthy. Like he had Cup go down for the start of the season, didn't really need him. And now Brian Thomas went down, but again, doesn't really need him. Like he has so many wide receivers that are not only startable but actually good on this roster. It's gross.
I still I don't know why he's hanging on to O'Connell. Like, get rid of O'Connell. I know he's on the IR, but like, do you really need O'Connell? He's not coming back. And if he does come back,
Who's holding on to O'Connell?
G hole.
Oh yeah, on the IR spot. Hey, I mean,
Good. I guess another quarterback. I get it. I get it. I mean, I have a quarterback right now that and Bryce Young, but at least he started this week. Maybe he can get um, Dalton in another accident and start again this week. We'll see.
going from one shit talker to another shit talker. We're gonna go to the D Haas game now. It's D
Okay.
Haas versus myself. D Haas has not set his lineup yet, but his optimum projected scoring is 122 versus my 140.
You think he's going to start Franklin? I mean, obviously that's his number one. He's not going to start Miller, Corum, Tucker. I mean, it's really just Franklin.
Yeah,
Makes. I mean, I
the
don't.
depth on this team is not that good. This is
Yeah.
also the team that's probably been the most hurt by injuries, maybe.
Well, and Tracy's got a concussion,
Yeah,
so he's he's in the struggle bus for sure. His team he coming out so hot,
yeah.
and he needed all of his players to play like it, and now Mason's season is fleeting for him.
Mhm. And not only that, Mason's in the bye week too. So,
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes versus Tampa Bay. Is this the week that Patrick Mahomes wake up against the softest passing defense in the league?
yeah. I mean, he, I mean, everything's got to go right for D Haas this week. Everything. He's got to have studs. He's got all of his players and the quarterbacks have to play their best game for him to have a chance. I don't think he wins this week. I think you win not easily, but I think you win pretty handily because I can see Barkley having a big game. He's gonna have to have another big game. Like they keep vulturing his touchdowns.
Yeah,
They've
right.
got to say okay, it's time for Barkley to get his, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Even though if you saw that like clip, I don't know if you saw it or not, where he had like he could have eclipsed his career best
Yep.
rushing of average, and he's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yep.
So
He's a very humble guy. He doesn't really care that much about these kind of things. So he wants to win more than he cares about the touchdowns, and it shows. But yeah, I do think I beat D Haas. What game do you want to go to?
well, there's only really one more game left. Was it the
There's
gangbang and Edge? Well, because
yeah,
we
DC.
kind of skipped over the other ones. Um, I I don't believe in Human's team at all. Don't believe in it. I think that he got very lucky the last couple weeks to win those two games. He should be 2-6 as well. Not hating against him personally, but Will Levis is not the answer, and Kareem Hunt is going to get destroyed once Pacheco comes back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so talking about luck and where teams should be, uh, he has 35 overall wins. Dylan has 33 overall wins, and but in the reality, Human has two more wins than Dylan does. So this is a 4-4 team that should probably be 3-5
Three and
or
five.
or
Yeah,
two
three
and
and five at
six.
best, right? I
Yeah.
think I think 2 weeks ago he should have lost. This past week he had Tillman go off. Which how many times is Tillman going to score 20 and 30 every week? Maybe this is his stuff.
I think Tillman is a saving grace, man. I think Tillman might be the real deal, with as long as Jameis is chucking the rock.
Well, I just don't think like Raheem is going to be anything that's going to be scoring 19 points next week. In that game, Arizona's defense is just so bad. Um, and then they play a Buffalo defense that stops the run, kind of thing. So I see that game being a crushing defeat for him when it comes to that. Myers had a good game last week. Monse Brown has got to have a better week every week. He's. I mean, they're just winning by so much. They don't need him. That's the problem. They ran the ball all day last
Yeah,
week.
that was such a weird game, like where Goff had 4 touchdowns and didn't even break 100 yards.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at his bench, that's the problem. All he's got is basically handcuffs. He's hoping that Brooks comes back from Carolina
Hmm.
and is the lead back. That's where his saving grace. He's losing Pickens this week because of the bye. That really hurts him.
That hurts him a lot.
Yeah, I see this as a pretty smooth game for Holden. Holden's team is, Tua and Tyreek now on his team. He really helped himself, even though he has 100 quarterbacks. He really helped himself. The thing that I just get frustrated with him is literally Calvin Ridley. I could have. He will not trade me Calvin Ridley. I've been trying since week one to get Calvin Ridley because I knew there was an upside, and now it's even more. He's the number one. He's going to get all the throws.
I think that's fake news, man.
You think it's fake news? You think it's going to go Trey Burks?
I don't think I think that you're blinded by the 28 points from last week
I think
when
I'm blinded by
Mason
the preseason.
but when Mason Rudolph is throwing the football. You gotta remember, Will Levis comes back. Calvin Ridley's a pumpkin.
Possibly. But he doesn't have another receiver. There's no Hopkins anymore. That's the reason.
Sometimes,
So,
sometimes that makes wide receivers worse because now they're going up against the number one corner, and it's harder for them to get open.
the one thing that the Holden's got saving grace is Hawkinson is almost back. And he'll have a tight end finally.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Schultz hasn't been doing terrible, but the
Schultz
best week he has is
shouldn't
last
be on
week,
a roster.
13 points.
This guy shouldn't be on a roster, and
No,
Holden is playing him every single week.
I know.
It's like, yeah, it's wild. He's like, I don't understand. He's really been holding on for Hawkinson to come back. I think that's why he hasn't made a trade for another tight end. It's because he's just been waiting for Hawkinson to come back.
This is the time, I guess. You know, when is the trade deadline again? Do you remember?
I do not remember. We'll have to talk to the commission about that.
I'm looking at the rules while you keep talking.
Okay. You looked the rules. You looked that up. We're gonna go into the next game: Cream Pie Cupcake versus House of Priapism. The man who scores all the points and doesn't get any wins is projected to score 129 this week, and Victor hasn't set his lineup yet, and his optimum is 131. So should be a super close game. Um,
The Bears are back. Let's just say that.
Bears are back from
Um,
bye.
the Bears are back, and so he's got an opportunity. Actually, the Bears was 2 weeks ago, but still, the Bears are back. Um, is he going to start Bigsby or ETN? That's an interesting thing because he's got both, and probably
ETN's
Bigsby's the guy to start because ETN
yeah,
probably
still
doing the
got that
snap count.
questionable. Yeah, I would go
Um,
Bigsby. Bigsby's been all right. He's been
he's
serviceable.
been okay. I mean, that whole offense is not. I mean, I know Trevor Lawrence had a big game last week, but still, their offense is not anything that you should be like going for. Will Cole commit have 30 points this week? Probably not. Well, they are playing Arizona. I should note that Arizona worst defense, so he's got a good shot with that. I say that Gary wins this week only because I don't see. I guess he starts Stevenson. Well, that's right. He's got the whole different trade. What's his team going to look like? Is he going to start two Baltimore receivers
Oh, that's right. What are we even
and a
doing here?
tight end and another tight end? Like, is he going to start
He's got
three
he's got
people?
two new running backs, so he's probably gonna start like David Montgomery at running back instead of Najee Harris.
Yeah. He's got Naj. He's going to start Chuba too, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he starts Chuba instead of. Well, he's not starting Javante Williams. Yeah. So he takes out Harris and Javante, puts those two in.
DK
Does he?
Metcalf if DK Metcalf is
Why
playing.
in the world? Okay, let's go back to the trade. Why wasn't Zay Flowers a part of his trade? Why do you get Deontay Johnson? Oh wait, he gave up Deontay Johnson.
Yeah,
Never mind. All right, now I'm following. Now I'm following.
yeah.
All right. So now the Deontay Johnson makes sense because he wanted to not have a second Baltimore receiver, but it makes no sense on the other side. All right, so he's gonna start that. I mean, his team now. I have to forget about the trade. It's an easy win.
Yeah, I
Victor
agree.
wins
Victor runs. Not only that, Gary's been unlucky, so he's just gonna continue being unlucky.
probably.
And we did a Razor's Edge, and then there's your game, which we're gonna
Mm.
go. You got your video to go over, but
I
Audie
mean,
just made his team worse, so you win.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's basically how it goes.
Because
It's
we can't judge this because like these players aren't. It's gonna be different
yeah.
players
So
on here.
Chuba's not going to be there. Who is he going to have? He's going to start Javante Williams.
Yeah,
He'll
downgrade.
start J.K. Dobbins. He'll start Deontay Johnson instead of Gabe Davis. Yeah, but he's got Bateman. What is he doing? Why isn't Bateman in this trade? If, I don't get it. So Bateman's not in the trade, so he can't start both of those, or you shouldn't. So let's say Deontay goes in. He's starting Kelsey. Is he gonna start Gabe Davis? Like literally, is he gonna start Gabe Davis again? Please let him start Gabe. This week's gonna be tough for me. I don't think I win. I really don't. I know that he destroyed his team, but I don't have Purdy. I don't have Kittle. That's the number one tight end, the number 6 quarterback.
You got Otten.
I
You
have
got Otten
Auden.
against Kansas City. Otten is gonna score 25 points against Kansas City.
I mean, that's
Calling that
my
now.
only saving grace is that Godwin and Mike Evans are out, so we we still have Auden. But Bryce Young only having 3.72 is they thinking Dalton's going to play? Because if Dalton plays, then I'm in much more trouble. If I have Bryce Young, at least maybe I'll get 18 points from him. I don't see myself getting 18 points from Palmer, McLaughlin, or Zach Moss
Yeah.
on my bench. So I need Bryce Young to play, or I don't think I win.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. It's a tough week for me. This week and week 10 are my toughest
Who
2 weeks.
paid 40 for Green Pie Cupcake
Week 12.
paid $40 for Elijah Moore. That's what happened.
Okay.
I was gonna say you
Well,
could have gotten
well,
Elijah Moore from the waiver wire, but
this should be the week though, as far as we're starting now to get into where bye weeks matter. You know,
yeah.
um, this is one of my bad weeks. Week 12 is another one of my bad weeks that I'm having to worry about, but we'll see. I think I lose. I do think I lose. I hope I don't, but I think I do.
I think you come away with another one.
We'll see.
Let's see. I have some messages, the
What do you get found?
anonymous comments and questions.
Okay.
Number one, Kyle. The league wants to know how much more anal penetration can you take before the end of the season. That's the Kyle, so I'll let him answer that whenever he feels like. Human, have you always been this bad at fantasy football? I'll let Human answer that question. Um, you'll probably guess who sent this one in. Will's mom spanked me for beating her son in fantasy football.
We know who that is. Definitely. Okay. That's not
And
any question though.
no, that's not. But it's an anonymous comment. And
Okay.
this last one for me, Geet, how do you always seem to draft horribly and yet find a way to the playoffs through trade rape?
I mean, you'd made what, 3 trades? 2 with me this year?
One with Dylan.
One Dylan, one with me. I think the one with me and you, I mean, obviously we always I think CD's powerful, but it just depends on if I get the value I can't. But what really my trade to help me out is Jacobs. Jacobs is making the trade for
Jacobs is
me.
so good. Jacobs is
So
good. He wasn't getting
I'll take
touchdowns,
it.
and now he's getting touchdowns. Like
Yeah.
I said, this would happen. That's why I was hesitant to the trade in the first place because losing Jacobs was. I thought Jacobs was significantly better than Pollard, even though they were scoring similar amounts once the trade happened.
Well, can you look at the standings real quick?
Yeah,
Our division 7-1, 5-3, 4-4, 2-6, but you know, anything can happen. But the win streaks, I have 3 wins in a row. Martian Law has 3 wins in a row. You just won last week, so you should hopefully win this week. Get yourself above the, you
500 mark.
know, 50%. So that'll be
Yeah,
good for you.
gotta beat the Oz to get there.
Which would be big because then that would take that division down 5-3.
Yeah,
2 5-3 teams, and maybe Holden wins, and oh my gosh, Holden's back.
I
How do we
know.
allow this man to keep coming back?
I don't know. Put away the goblin, guys. We gotta lock the goblin back in the dungeon.
Um, let's say Victor loses this week and Human somehow wins. You're talking about a Human team that's actually winning a division.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah,
How? It's finished so bad.
I know. So we are looking at a really bad division of the dudes, a top heavy division of the Donnies, and then a fight in the Walters in the top 3. So
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I've got a good. I've got all I need is a 3 game lead going into week 12 because I have wins against all 3 of you guys.
it's starting to seem like you are gonna get the bye week, and it's hard to fight against that.
I
Like
don't know.
you're gonna get the
I
bye week, I
I've
think.
seen myself go 3 4 losses in a row before the playoffs and not make it. So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not hopeful until I see a big asterisk that says winner of the division. I don't. I mean, I want the number 1 seed because obviously you get a bye, but I just want to win the division. If I win the division, that means I'm obviously in the playoffs. I want to get in the playoffs this year. I haven't been in the playoffs in the last 2 years. I need to get back.
I agree. I think that's a good spot to call it. And so, SFL, thank you for sticking out with us. I think Will's got to go. We're over 5 minutes from
Yeah,
the
whatever.
time we had to call it. I thank you, Will. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And I'll see you guys next week, hopefully.